the more things change, the more they actually stay exactly the same. So in the ongoing Rippaverse saga, we don't really have much new information to go on. Eric July actually put out a video. I want to say, I think it was 2 days ago. Let me see. I'm gonna look it up now. Rippaverse. Pretty sure it was 2 days ago. Yeah, so it was 2 days ago. He put out a video where he was giving an update, explaining everything that was going on with the comic venture. And to keep it real with you, this is actually refreshing to see a comic book creator, which you can call him not a comic book creator because this is his comic universe, be so transparent, give so much information, is in all reality unorthodox. This is not what we're used to seeing. What you're used to seeing is, comic books come out like any other business. You might get an update, you may not get an update. Things happen, things go on in the background. Things come out, things change. You really don't know why they changed. You don't know why things happen the way they did. And he's making an effort to change that and be very transparent. Now, also understand, as a company grows and as a company gets bigger, you won't really be able to be as transparent. There's just way too much going on. Now, maybe there is a way to do that. Maybe you have a bunch of content going out daily, constantly, several times throughout the day, which I'm not saying you can't do that. It is possible. I caution people getting too used to and too comfortable with the transparency you're getting out of the Rippaverse. I understand why some companies keep things so close to the hip, because this is what's going to happen. This is I'm going to say this is my prediction, may or may not be true. As the Rippaverse grows, as the Rippaverse makes more money, if that does happen, because none of us know how good or bad the comic book is going to be. I'm not going to jump out the window and say just because I happen to follow and appreciate some of Eric July's stances, that doesn't mean that this ISOM #1 is guaranteed to be good. Although my sneaking suspicion is that this book is going to be phenomenal. That is my sneaking suspicion, but I could be wrong. As he comes out with more content, what you're going to see, in my opinion, is you're going to see the bigger comic book companies and the bigger publishers come after him in an underhanded way. What they're going to attempt to do is rip him off, so to speak. Now, before anybody says this, let me get this out of the way and make this clear. Of course, when you look at ISOM and you look at some of the character designs, of course you have influences off other comic books. If you think you're not going to have any influence from the things that you have enjoyed, you're sadly mistaken. You can't listen to music and not recognize how an artist was influenced by another artist. When you look at Cyberforce, you can see how that was influenced by the X-Men. When you look at Wildcats, you can see how that was influenced by the X-Men. This is just, it's a natural thing. It happens. You're inspired by other people and you pull from that inspiration. Doesn't mean that you straight up 100% ripped them off. You're just pulling from that inspiration. What I think is going to happen is at some point, the big content houses are going to straight up rip off the Rippaverse. That's kind of funny. Rip off the Rippaverse. No pun intended. Anyway, that's my prediction. That's what I think at some point is possible and maybe even likely to happen. So in the video Eric July put out, he explained many things. I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, you probably already watched that one. He explained exactly what I said before. He fronted the money for all of this, all of the things he's doing. He paid for this up front. So this is not a crowdfunding campaign. It's a pre-order campaign. He put up he was the front man for his own project. He was the one that put up all the money. Now, this is where that PayPal situation comes in again. I guess PayPal is holding somewhere around $1.29 million, according to Eric July. And they won't get that money for a couple months, if I'm not mistaken. I think I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, he says sometime next month. And there was a whole ordeal he explained with that. I'm not going to try to get into the ins and outs with that. Now, I understand, and I said this in my last video, and somebody posted a comment in one of my videos explaining, PayPal protecting people against fraud. Definitely understand. But it's not like this is an unknown figure. Eric July has been on Fox News. Eric July has been on, he's a Blaze TV contributor. He has had his own YouTube channel for years now. He has a band. This is a tangible person. This is not some fictitious person in Nigeria sending people emails and scamming them and using PayPal. That's not what this is. And there's no way that the people at PayPal can look at this Rippaverse campaign and say to themselves, oh, well, we got to make sure we hold this money to protect the customers. I don't think that's what it is. Eric July brought this up, and I think it's actually true. I did a video on this whole PayPal saga. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but he says he believes the reason they're doing this way is they're making money off of his money while they're holding it, which is true. They're collecting interest and doing all kind of other things with the money. Not gonna get into all of that, but suffice it to say, I think the industry is really, in a roundabout way, trying to shut him out. But he was wise in the way he started this, and it's just not working. Now, I think what he said for his international customers, he's no longer going to have or allow PayPal as a payment processor. So he's completely moving away from that completely. I do not blame him. I understand completely. If I was him, I would be doing the same exact thing. I definitely would not be using PayPal moving forward, since they're holding money and playing fast and loose with somebody else's money, which in my opinion, that's what they're doing. I was looking into the artist that he has on his I Sum #1 book, Cliff Richards, and he has some very good art. He's worked with Marvel, Dark Horse, and DC. The reason I say that is many people within the industry are brushing this thing off as almost like it's a hobby, right? Like this is just some hobbyist getting into the comic book creative space. No, this is not just a hobbyist. He has industry professionals working on this book. And here's another thing he said within his video that I like. Now, I brought this up before, that he said he wants his books to be longer. I think this book is 90 or 86 or 96 pages. I can't remember exactly what it is. And I think he wants all his books to be that way. Longer form, not short books. I've already said I personally like and appreciate that. 30-something bucks for the book. Actually not bad. I think it was like 36 bucks or something like that. Not bad. Here's another thing he said. This is completely printed, everything done in the United States. Now, I don't know this, and I didn't go to look this up. I'm assuming that Marvel, DC, maybe Dark Horse, and even Image, maybe they have their stuff printed overseas and shipped into the United States. I don't know that to be the case. That may be the case. This is the reason I'm saying that. I don't mind paying slightly more, and maybe even a little more than slightly, for something that is completely done within the United States. Now, does this mean that I'm against stuff coming from overseas? No, I am not. That is not what I'm saying. But it's about time we start making something in the United States. We've outsourced manufacturing everywhere else. Reason I bring that up is he brought up the quality of his paper, the quality of everything that went into making this book. He also brought up the fact that they're taking their time to make sure, and this, if he can keep this, and it's hard to keep things like this when you scale up a business, but what he's doing is in the process of shipping, they're trying to ship this in the best quality boxes possible, because we all know how things work when something is shipped. Boxes are moved, they fall, other heavy boxes are put on them or around them, things get damaged. And he's doing whatever he can to mitigate that. He showed some of the footage of the warehouse, and it seems like with all the money he has, well, it doesn't just seem like, he actually said it, with all the money that he had come in, it actually accelerated his plans. This is a good thing. This is a good thing to have. Right now, he has very good problems. Now, I can't wait to get this book in my hands, because as soon as I get this thing in, Lord willing, I'm going to read it. I'm going to review it. I might take some pictures. I'll let people know. It's gonna be a spoiler alert for people who hadn't read the book by that time. I'm hoping to get mine in fairly early, because I put my order in that first day. The first day I got cover A. So I'm hoping to get my book in fairly soon. I might order another copy of the cover C. I think is the only covers that are left. It was A, B, and cover C. So that'll be the one that I open up, go back to read. That cover A, I'm going to read once. I'm going to take some pictures of the different panels as I'm reading, so I can maybe do a video, talk through what was going on. I'm going to close that thing up. It's going to get bagged and boarded, and it'll never come out again. I'm probably going to find some kind of display case, dust-proof display case to put it in, because it is my suspicion that Rippaverse comics in the future are probably going to be worth a boatload of money, because to me, this is a successful launch. People are excited. The industry is nervous. My opinion. I'm just letting you know right out the gate. This is my opinion. I think the industry is fully and completely in panic mode. For the longest time, the comic book industry, well, I say for the longest time, let's say within the past 15 years, I feel like the comic book industry has taken the fans for granted. They've assumed that fans will just always be there, no matter what. We can put out anything we want. Fans will be around. It doesn't matter. I think they're beginning to see that's not the case. The fact that, let's see what the Rippaverse is at right now. Let me see if I can go to my let's go to my browser capture. My fault. I don't have the browser on there. Let me go. Okay, so right now as it stands, he is at $3.45 million. 40,136 purchases. That is a boatload of purchases. Completely, as I said before, blew past that $100,000 goal. Now let me show you what we have here. Let's go to Bounding into Comics. Just take a slight look at the different things we see going on in the comic book universe. This is from August 18th. Superman, Son of Kal-El, writer Tom Taylor. Let's see. I'm gonna click on this article, see what it says. I'm just gonna give a brief synopsis, show you what's going on in the comic book universe, and contrast that to what you see going on in the Rippaverse. And this is what I mean by the comic book industry taking advantage or taking fans for granted. Superman, Son of Kal-El writer Tom Taylor keeps embracing woke politics, teases gay marriage for John Kent and boyfriend Jay Nakamura in new issue. Here's the reason I think this is problematic. Now, a writer can have a gay character if he wants. If a person is gay and they're writing a comic book, and they're writing the script for a comic book, writing a story, I'm only going to assume that their lifestyle is going to come out in, whatever it is they create. I got to expect that. My problem is, and I don't know these people's motives, so I can't say definitively, but I think with much of these things, they're just trying to push an agenda. This is not about organic creation. This is not about just something that's good. They're just pushing an agenda onto the fans. Okay, so there's another article about 10 most underutilized Batman villains. There are a lot of Batman villains that are underutilized. Okay, here's a story, and I think I went over this story before. Yeah, about new Mary Jane and Black Cat Beyond series fuels speculation as a matter of whether MJ and Felicia Hardy are now members of the LGBTQ plus community. The thing is, you see that theme a lot in most modern comics, which, again, some creators who happen to be gay, this is probably going to come out in their creative process. You can't avoid that. The issue is, I don't think that's why much of this stuff is coming out. I think it's an agenda people are putting into comics to force you to embrace something. And that's my problem with it. They're trying to force you to embrace something that you may or may not be interested in. Instead of just saying, I'm going to create this comic book. People may like my storyline. They may not like my storyline. But at a bare minimum, I'm going to try to create something that the fans will enjoy. And I think what happens too many times is, instead of trying to create something that fans will enjoy, many comic book companies are shoving agendas for several reasons. One, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Many people in the, that community, LGBTQ, there's so much stuff added to it. I don't even know what it is. You know what I'm talking about. They make a lot of noise about representation. These comic book companies, whether looking at social media, looking at news articles and clips and seeing what's getting most notoriety, probably think to themselves, oh, okay, these are the people who are fans. This is what they want to see. I'm not saying there are not people in that community that are fans of comic books. Clearly there are. I think the problem is assuming that all of your audience is going to be okay with you shoving this down their throat. Again, there's a difference between these things coming out organically in your creative process. Here's the problem. If you have a comic book company and let's say one of your creators happens to be, I'm trying to think of something. That would be, let's say one of your content creators is an avid vegan. Then at some point in their creative process, if they're a writer, that's going to come out. But if you have a vegan theme pushed in every single one of your comic books, okay, now this is an agenda. It is gone from one of your creators. This is part of their lifestyles, came out in their creative process, understood. When it's in every book and it's being shoved and pushed and shoved and pushed ever so slightly, more and more, until it's more in your face. Well, now this is an agenda. This is beyond just something coming out in the creative process. I think people are seeing this. They're noticing this. And I think this is the reason, this is the sole reason the Rippaverse has got 40,000 purchases. This is the reason. This is the reason a Rippaverse has made $3.4 million. Eric July is black. We all know that. His first character, Isum, is black. He's not black because he's trying to push an agenda. Obviously, you see that he has a white team. Forgive me, I can't remember the name of the team that he showed in the comic. And Yaira, she's white. And Isum is black. This doesn't feel forced at all. He's just creating characters. The focus is not on whether they're this or that. The focus is, what is this character? How do we develop and cultivate the story around this character to generate excitement? Because the story is good. This is what many, many creators have forgotten. They have forgotten the art of making a good story and delivering that good story to you.